If you have been looking to subscribe to a high-speed internet service for your home but don't want to pay too much because you think those ISPs are still overcharging you, I have the answer for you. Now, this is the U-Home 5G which I've been subscribed to about 2 months on my own expense. U-Mobile did not sponsor me this, but I'm just doing a video for you guys today to tell you about my thoughts about it. And we are, of course, going to run some tests on U-Home 5G to find out how well it works for you. So the 5G modem router that we got right over here is the ZTE MC8020, which is one of the highest end Wi-Fi 6 5G modem routers that you can get in the market right now, and it is also one of the recommended models by U-Mobile. Now, as you can see right here, we are redoing our speed test here. The U-Home 5G broadband plan is an excellent broadband plan for home. We are getting 340 megabits per second of download and 99.16 megabits per second of upload at 8th floor of Pacific Place, our Damansara, which is actually a very good coverage area for 5G networks in Malaysia. So this is the speeds that we are getting. Ping is at 14 milliseconds, and if you look over to the details on our MacBook here, we have 0% packet loss and a jitter of 3 milliseconds. This is the kind of connection that you will need for most of the things such as streaming, gaming, and whatsoever. And I can tell with this kind of performance, you can totally depend on 5G for gaming or even cloud gaming. Now, we are going to go through like some of the features of the ZTE MC8020 before we actually get on to testing downloads and uploads of the U-Home 5G network, right? So let's just head on to Safari, and we are going to enter the router right now. Okay, so this is how the login page looks like. It looks very straightforward, and this is the dashboard of the router that you're seeing right now, which is very user-friendly. For anyone who doesn't have any experience in setting up routers, I can tell you this is basically just a plug and play, and all you need to do is to just sign in here and to configure your router settings and probably some of the other connection settings that you need to do here. But I can tell you that this is really just plug and play. You just need to pop in your SIM card and everything works. So this is the settings. This is what you can configure in your Wi-Fi settings, your SSID name, your security mode, your password, and it even has a QR code that you can save to your phone and share to your users if you actually want to do that. You even have a guest SSID, which is great if you want people to access your network without affecting other devices out there, because they will be supplied with a different IP address. You've got WPS connection, Wi-Fi optimization, and by the way, this is actually a pretty unique 5G modem router because it actually supports mesh networks. So just in case if you have a large condo or a large home that you require a couple of pieces of these, you can actually buy a few more of them to create a mesh network inside your home. So that is actually a great feature that ZTE has actually included with the MC8020. So let's just go back to the home screen here. We shall check out other settings. So you do also have features like a suggested position here, which is actually pretty good because you might not know whether you place this router at a dead spot or whatsoever or not. So let's just try out this feature, shall we? So of course, this is not the best location that we have here in the studio, but I'm just going to press on detect now to show you guys how well it works. So it's going to take a while to detect your devices that's connected all over, and then it will suggest whether it is a good place to put or not, or you need to change your position. All right, so there you go. Thankfully, we are in a perfect location for this 5G modem router, so we're just going to discard. And yeah, that's how friendly the ZTE MC8020 is. And you do also have other things like NFC, because on the top here, you can actually just tap on your phone on top of here to get connected to your Wi-Fi network, which is actually a very great feature, and I think it's kind of standard on this kind of 5G or even 4G modem routers. And let's head on over to advanced settings, because for you nerds out there, you might want to know what you can do on the MC8020. So you get a night mode, so you can basically just turn off the indicator lights if you actually want to do that. And we have Wi-Fi wake settings, we have router. The router tab lets you configure your DHCP IP addresses. Firewall, you can do your firewall settings if you want to. And finally, update the firmware or even reset to factory settings through the others tab. So overall, the ZTE MC8020 5G modem router is pretty advanced in my opinion for a 5G router, because in most cases, whenever we get this from our ISPs or when we buy these kind of routers, there isn't a lot of things that you can play with, but for this, you can actually do a lot of it. And if you intend to expand your Wi-Fi network through this 5G router, I would recommend that you probably just go shop for an ASUS router or whatsoever to expand the network, because that will be way cheaper, because this 5G router costs about 1,699 ringgit. So it's not advisable to get a second unit to create a mesh network, even though it supports mesh. But for now, we're gonna do the speed test. All right, so let's just try to do some downloads here. So we are going to head on to Steam here, which we're going to download some games on our Mac. I know Mac isn't a computer that you are going to download a lot of things here, but we are just going to show you that how well it works. Okay, so we're on Steam now, and I'm going to head on over to my library here, and let's try to download, say, we're just going to filter just Apple games. Let's try to download Batman Arkham City GOTY, shall we? So we got 12.73 gigs of space required, and I'm just going to press on install to my SSD on my Mac, and we're going to find out how good the download speed is. So as we tested earlier on, the U-Mobile network is able to get up to 343 megabits per second. So we are looking at a pretty good start here. So we are looking at a 154, 198. It's slowly going up. So as you can see, U-Mobile doesn't throttle when you're using the network extensively, so which is a really good thing. They really keep their promise for this as being an unlimited plan. They don't limit you when it comes to such kind of download tasks, but the only thing U-Mobile will limit you is P2P downloads such as torrents. Now, as you can see, we are reaching a peak 372.3 megabits per second. That's actually faster than some fixed home fiber networks that's way more expensive out there. So if you're someone who doesn't really do a lot of heavy downloads at home, and by all means this plan is actually meant for heavy downloads, because you actually get a really good fair usage policy of up to 1 terabyte. So if you have a household of like 3 or 4 family members that uses it for streaming and some gaming, I would say that this plan is more than sufficient for you guys. Okay, now let's move on to our another computer here, because we are just going to perform an upload test here. So I'm going to head on over to our NAS here, because we are now connected to the 5G network here. We are just going to upload to our NAS that's in the studio, so that's on a different network. So we're just going to head on over to our Synology drive. Now look at this. We just got 469 megabits per second of peak space. This is totally amazing for a 5G network, and it's way faster than most cheap home fiber broadband plans. Okay, so we are now at our NAS. This is Synology's DiskStation operating system. So we're just going to try and upload something from our computer here. Okay, so I'm going to try to upload my entire Z Flip 4 photo backup over to my NAS here. And when I press open, all right, so it is going to compress it into a zip file, but the upload should start really soon. Okay, so there we go. We are having a speed of 877.8. So and look at this, we are getting a pretty good start here, which is pretty accurate to the speed test. We are getting 1.9 megabytes per second of upload speed. That's actually amazing for a 5G network. We are now at 2.1 megabytes per second. Wow, I am super impressed. I can tell you, this is a service that you can totally depend on uploading and downloading stuff. Wow, this is just amazing. Look at this, we are hitting speeds of 2.9 megabytes per second. That is actually an amazing speed, considering it is a 5G network, and you can really totally depend on this for uploads and downloads. Now, this is what happens when you try to do torrents over U-Mobile's 5G network, because according to their service terms and conditions, you are not allowed to do any P2P activities on it. And I actually tried connecting to a VPN and it still doesn't work as well. So U-Mobile has really clearly blocked P2P on its network here, and you wouldn't get any progress at all. So yep, if you're thinking to use this for P2P and so on, I would advise you against using this service. But in most cases, I think nowadays people are not really doing a lot of torrents and P2P as we get streaming services and all that really. So yeah, I think this is a really good network to consider if you are thinking to get a high-speed broadband subscription service for your home. Now, before I conclude this video, let us do a quick recap on the UHome 5G plan. Now, at this time of shooting, it still costs 68 ringgit per month, and this is the net cost that you'll need to pay. There's no SST or any hidden charges in the bill at all. I've actually used that for 2 months, and there's no hidden cost at all. And this plan doesn't require you to be binded to a contract or whatsoever, and no installation needed. So this is basically a SIM-only plan, and U-Mobile doesn't offer any device bundles or whatsoever. And these are the recommended 5G and 4G Wi-Fi routers that you can consider, or you can simply just go and grab a 5G smartphone and share a hotspot over it, and you are all set. Okay. Now, of course, with every telcos and ISPs, there's going to be some TNCs and some fair usage policy that you can see right here. So I'm just going to show you that. So let's head on to the next browser tab here. So on this frequently asked questions page here, at the last part, you will see that are there any speed restrictions with UHome 5G, and it says that we may restrict your speeds if we detect abuse or unusually high usage above 1000 gigabytes. So this is essentially not a unlimited plan, because unlike your home fiber broadband where you can go above that quota usage without having limitations, this in fact has some limitations here if you use over this quota. And depending how they define abuse or unusually high usage, it's still a very unclear thing here, because like some households, they can really use above this if you use it a lot for streaming and gaming and downloading stuff. You can easily just exit this quota here. So I'm not sure what U-Mobile is referring to when it comes to this abuse word. All right. Now, of course, finally, P2P and torrenting is not allowed on UHome 5G, as we already demonstrated on uTorrent just now. It doesn't even move at all. There's no download progress on uTorrent, all right? But otherwise, that's pretty much, it's a very straightforward service, and I urge you to read all the terms and conditions before you subscribe, just like any subscription plans, because there are times that you might not agree with some of the things that the service provider is offering. Over the past 2 months, I have been very impressed with the UHome 5G service. It has provided very consistent and reliable 5G speeds that me and my family have been enjoying it at our weekend condo. It works very well even if we are using it at 15th floor. We are reaching about 300 megabits per second all the time, and that is actually very impressive for a 5G network. And even if you compare to a fixed home broadband service, you're probably going to pay more if you're getting a 300 megabit per second plan. Now, of course, there are still caveats for getting a 5G broadband in Malaysia. And first of all is that you can't do P2P and torrenting, which is something that some people still do out there. But if you're not doing that and merely using the service for 4K Netflix streaming and some gaming, this is a highly recommended broadband service from me. So yeah, that's all for my thoughts on U-Mobile's UHome 5G network. And once again, U-Mobile did not sponsor this video, and I personally subscribed to the service. As you can see on the screenshot of my bill right here, I actually paid for this service to do this evaluation. And the only thing that we did here is to request a loan from ZTE for this modem to perform this evaluation. All right, so that's all for this video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up. And I'll see you guys in the next one.